gráfica, más hostil. Empieza casi de la mano cuando yo empiezo a trabajar en medios de comunicación. Pero antes era un fantasma. El narcotráfico era alguien que estaba ahí, pero nadie podía ver, solo veías los cadáveres, veías los muertos. No tengo como claro el año, pero yo empiezo a trabajar en medios en el 2007. Entonces ya había asesinados, ya había cadáveres, el ejército ya estaba en la calle. Entonces tenías que estar buscando ese tipo de noticias, como todo era nuevo. O sea, que mataran tanta gente.
It's a real eye-opening doc short from Mexico, primarily about a photojournalist and his experience capturing violence between local groups and cartels. It was interesting to hear that recently photojournalists have felt freer to capture imagery than in the past, saying that the footage in this film is so close to the action. As for the sound, it was rather shocking to hear machine guns going off in the distance. In addition, there was a passionate musical score appropriate to the action. It was also fascinating to hear various people's opinions on whether the government is doing enough to stop the cartels. Some are a bit pessimistic about the future of Mexico versus the photojournalist who is hoping that things will get better soon. The drone shots of the mountains were so lovely, and I enjoyed seeing footage of people going about their business despite the tensions. Great job.
I thought this was a really strong piece. I've heard a lot, or we hear a lot about, the cartels in Mexico really sort of running the show here. This was just a really strong on the grounds perspective of that. They just did a great job at presenting the information, doing a great job with the editing and the contrast there, getting our photojournalist's opinion juxtaposed against the other gentleman's opinion there. There's that desperate need for hope immediately, and that more bleak and dire vision of the immediate future. And then just ending on a sort of romanticized, triumphant kind of note, I thought was just really a smart touch on a piece that's really, really just difficult to even imagine for a lot of us. So your heart goes out to everyone involved there, and you really do just hope things end well, and all that thanks to this piece. It was really just a good eye-opening take on it all. Definitely worth checking out.
It's a great documentary. I really enjoyed watching it. We hear so much about the cartel down south, and we see it portrayed in the media in various ways, but never like this. Very eye-opening, and I was in awe hearing about these people who have banded together and are trying to fight them. It was so interesting also to approach it from a photojournalist point of view. We get some really stunning images, and some of them are bleak and horrific in content, but visually just beautiful. And as a photographer myself, I appreciated that. I loved seeing them, and I really liked the ending. After seeing all this violence, it was so nice to see the area humanized and show that life is very normal here as well. It's just very uplifting and hopeful way to end the piece. And overall, just great job.
This was really a fascinating short. Especially, it was very impactful listening to it from a journalist's perspective about how when he had first started out as a journalist and how he felt about what was happening in his country. And then listening to an electoral candidate talk about what they were doing by speaking out against the cartels. You know that has to be dangerous. The entire short was something that I thought was beautifully shot, but it was also terrifying in the fact that journalists going in to the ranchers, to the public who were picking up arms and fighting against the cartels, when you're there and you're interviewing them and you're asking them questions, and then all of a sudden the fighting starts to break out, that has to be absolutely terrifying and horrifying. It was really educational too, because I had no idea the extent of what was happening in Mexico. And you look at this beautiful, beautiful country, and it's like two sides in opposition. This gorgeous country where all of the rolling hills and stuff like that, and then it switches to a much darker side of Mexico, Yeah, it was very impactful.
I really loved Enrique Sanchez's perspective in Hotlands, and a quote of his that stuck out to me specifically was, "Sometimes you don't know how to make sense of the moment that you're living in." And as an artist, that really resonated with me in the sense that he is continuing to document what he's seeing and share it without even necessarily knowing how to process it at a given moment as it's occurring. I think it also resonated with me because this is a moment globally where I think there's a great deal of uncertainty in many areas, and everyone is feeling that. And so I think that the film presenting this idea of uncertainty in relation to Mexico and the increased cartel violence in the future of the country and their safety as everyday citizens, I think that that idea can be relatable for a lot of people who will be watching this film. Not in a literal sense, but I think that we all feel uncertainty in this moment in time. And I enjoyed that the film ended by sharing several perspectives of what the future of Mexico could look like, but also focused more on the idea of hope.
An extremely powerful film and a beautifully shot film about a struggle for peace in Michoacán, Mexico, which is an issue that I was not aware of before viewing the film, so I'm very happy I got the opportunity to learn more. And I thought the filmmakers did a really great job of highlighting the different perspectives on how the issue escalated and how it started in a way that was both concise and impactful. And I also really appreciated the way that the film ended, highlighting the beauty of the state, because I feel like a lot of times outsiders might not be able to see through the violence, but in reality, Michoacán is still a place with beauty and art and joy, despite the violence. So overall, I thought the filmmakers did a great job, and congratulations on a great film.
It's a really fantastic documentary. I think that it does a really great job of showing both sides and both realities of what it means to live in this journalist's hometown. We get to see the beauty. We get to see these aerial shots of lush green nature. We see laughing, smiling families and children and cultural celebrations and just all that, comes with the beautiful Mexican culture. And then on the other side, you see a civil war happening. You see anger and fear and unrest and violence. And interesting that we get to really be up close and in it, and journalists have to put their lives in danger in order to get this coverage, because a lot of news outlets at the start of it weren't covering it. We get to hear what the government is and isn't doing to help the situation, and just the havoc that the cartels have wreaked on this country. So I enjoyed the ending as well, where he kind of gives his thoughts on the whole matter, and do we see any reprieve from this? What is the future? And he's quite optimistic about it, and I like that. It was refreshing, and he was saying, don't judge our city because of the things that you hear and the things that you're seeing. It's so much more than that. And this violence, this lawlessness that you see doesn't encompass everywhere. So yeah, I like that he didn't shy away from showing the ugly parts, but he also made sure to embrace the beauty as well. So I thought this was really, really well done, very well informed, and I hope the audiences get a lot from it.